Hello everyone. Now in this particular video we will be studying how do we apply loops. Now loops is a very important functionality in any programming language, as in it gives you power to iterate certain things as many as times you want depending on certain condition. So here we will be studying two different type of loops. First one would be a for loop and the next one would be a while loop. Okay. So let us try to understand how the syntax works in Python using different examples. So we'll try to understand how our for loop works. So for I in range of say 5 colon print I. So I'll write this much and then I'll run it for you. So you can see what is happening over here is for I in range 5. Range 5 indirectly what we are passing over here is list of 5 numbers starting from 0 to 4. And one by one what would happen is it will take, so I'll just make a range of 5 over here. Yeah, so we'll have to have a list as well. Perfect. So what indirectly is happening over here is first whatever would be in the first position that would go into this random variable I. You can have anything instead of this I. You can have J, you can have L, you can have anything. So any variable name, whatever would be at the 0th index or at the first position, that would go over here and then it would run, and that I would be used over here. Since we are writing print I, it is printing this 0 for the first loop. Next time it will change and hop on to this value, that is 1. Same, it will print 1. Next loop it will take 2, print it, 3, print it, 4, print it. Similarly, the loop would run till it covers up all the numbers. This means the total number of the times the loop would run would be equal to the length of the list. So you can pass a list over here, or else you can like initiate such range function and get a list over there. Make sure that you write colon, and after colon when you hit enter you automatically come one tab space ahead. So like any other programming language, if you are using loop, you don't need to use those curly braces over there to mention that this much part is within my loop. Okay, one tab space ahead means that you are within the loop, and if you are using this two loops within a same for loop, that is nested loops, for that you will have to use multiple tab space ahead. So that is how it works. And if you don't want it, if you want to check what is the last value in your I, you can simply write like this. So this print is outside the for loop, this print is inside the for loop. When you will run this, you can see that 4 is getting repeated because whatever would be stored at the last time, that would get printed over here. So this is how your loop works. Now apart from this, we will see how can we change different values over here and change the pattern in which loop works. So next example would be for I. Let us take some other variable for this. For j in let's take some strings over here, India colon print j this time. So when you run this, you can see all of your individual characteristics would come in a single line, and as soon as the loop changes, the data goes to the next line. So remember this, as soon as the loop changes, the data goes to the next line. Now you can have any kind of thing. So let's try to change this to k. For k in, now let us define a list over here of say 5, 10 and 11 colon print k plus 1. Run it. So you can see first time your 5 would go in k, next time 10 would go in k, 11 and go in k, and 11 like 6 plus 1, then again 11 plus 1, like your 10 plus 1 and 11 plus 1. So you will be getting output as 6, 11 and 12. So we have put a list over here, we have passed a string over here, and we have passed again a list over here. So using all of these different things, you can get output. One thing to note over here is that the length or the number of times the loop would run would be equal to the length of the string or the length of the list over here. Now, say supposedly, for example, if I ask you to print a program in which you are printing all the reverse numbers or inverse numbers, okay. So for that, how would we write a code? So let us try to understand this code. So for that, I will write this for you. For I in range of, say, starting from 1 till 10 or 11. So we will get till 10. Now we have made our numbers starting from 1 till 10. Now we want to print inverse of this number, that is inverse of 1 is 1, inverse of 2 is 0.5, like that we want till 10, right? So for that we'll write print of, and here let us write some string inverse of. Now after that we need to give comma and we need to write I. So what would happen if I run it over here itself? So it will write inverse of 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Now we want to write of and is the answer. So inverse of 1, give a comma once again, is, edit over here, run it, you can see the change, and let's give one more comma and write what is inverse, 1 by I. So when we'll print this, you can see the output over here. You can see the output is inverse of 1 is 1, inverse of 2 is 0.5. This is how you can write a simple code to print inverse of number or any other thing. Now this is the advantage of for loop, and similarly now let us just see a simple example for a while loop so that we understand how and when to use which one. So for loop is generally used when we want to write different conditions, when we have a list or any other thing. While loop is used when we have a certain condition, and if that condition is reached, the loop stops. So supposedly, for example, if we declare value of, say, I or say counter as 1 at the start, and in the next line let's write while counter is equals to, say, 10, till that time this would run. In the next line let us write print, and in the round bracket write counter is, and let us give a comma over here and write counter, and in the next line write counter is equals to counter plus 1, and run it. So yeah, this won't work because it's not counting. Yep. So when we write less than equal to, this condition is getting satisfied. Earlier when we were writing double equal to, what was happening? The condition was not getting satisfied, therefore the while loop was not working. Now when we are giving this less than 10, you can see for the first time counter value is 1. 1 is less than 10, true. Therefore our counter is printing 1. Count is 1. Next line what we are doing, we are incrementing the counter by 1. Count is equals to counter plus 1. So count value is now 2, then it would check 2 is less than 10, it will print 2. Again it will check 3 is less than 10, it would do so. So this would happen until 9. If you want to have 10 as well, you can write less than equal to like this. So you will get your till 10, that is the condition is incremented. Now you can try all sorts of different programs in which you want to iterate over different values. That could be anything with respect to for loop or while loop. Thank you.